Looking at game 3 here, I believe the winner of this game, well, we don't actually have any results out of the 07 Treta match just yet. Oh, there we go. 07-2-0 to over Treta. So the winner of this game will have the honor, Zath, of going on to play the reigning champions.
Ah.
All right, here we go. Talk to me about GGWP, Zath.
Okay, so GGWP coming in with Shikishima and an Ohio. And let's see, we got ourselves Stalingrad, Des Moines, double Moskva, and Daring Marceau Gearing.
Okay. We've seen some really good destroyer play out of these guys, Zath.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see how this goes. Having a look over the Nocap lineup, Yamato, Zath's personal favorite, Burgonia.
That's right.
Des Moines, Moskva, Glhf, and quadruple destroyer, Gearing, Harugumo, Daring, and Marceau. Interesting to see them bring 4 destroyers on a map like Land of Fire, which is I won't say historically, but commonly associated with kind of strong cruiser positions.
That's right.
Nocap getting their backfield organized, getting everybody kind of angled up where they want to go. It looks like we're sending Gearing, Harugumo, Des Moines, and Yamato to A. Marceau and Daring heading to B. Moskva looks like he's going to set up on this island over here in, what is that, about G5. Burgonia and Glhf going to C. I like what they're doing with XGC, Zath. I think what's going to happen here, the Daring, that's Ryan Joe's Daring, is going to move up and work the bottom into the cap. XGC is going to hang out over here where they can hopefully get some eyes on the Daring from a direction that he may not be expecting and get some good solid hits into him early.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a possibility. It's a rather aggressive position early on.
It is, and it allows them to flex him to see if they determine they can make that work. Because he's already on that side of the cap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, shells coming in. They must have him. How do they have him lit? Lit on the surface? No. Must have just been guessing.
That's a really good guess.
Yeah, the Moskva hit him. I was like, what? How did that happen? Chikawama's Moskva taking a good hit early. Wow, somebody just hit Kaga.
Yep.
Somebody just took 30k off of Kaga. That must have been this Yamato back here.
It looked like it was.
Kozil?
Yeah, it looked like it was.
They are pushing XGC Plumber off the cap a bit. No? He's out of Moskva radar range. They should be able to spot him. Well, it's very clear that KSC. I'm sorry. I'm stuck in the last game. Nocap is not interested in contesting C. Right. The Glhf, right. The Burgonia are obviously they're just like, we're not going to screw around these islands. You guys do you. Yep. Do whatever. We're going to chill out over here. Well, they are making a big play for A.
This is what we've seen every team do now, is basically just kind of ignore C, other than, you know, GGWP's Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, let's see if I can get this.
Well, he's going to get it uncontested. He doesn't know that, but
right.
There's nobody there. Like, there's not even a radar there. There's nobody. They're basically just like, we don't care about this cap.
That's what I mean.
Our fight is A and B. It's very obvious. No cap that's their stake in the ground.
Right. I just like the fact that GGWP is putting somebody there and saying, let's keep him honest, right?
Yeah. Keep him honest in the sense of don't let him just push through for free.
Exactly, yes.
You know, it's funny, Zath. We see this all the time, right? You know you're up against an opposing destroyer. You know it's very likely a Daring, and everybody still dumps torpedoes anyway. Like, why not? You know, like, you might as well.
And you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Mr. Red.
Don't take. That's right. Nocap moves out to an early 6-point lead, but while they pull Killer Kane's Gearing off the A cap, Walrus's Marceau on the backside of the island will start to pick it up.
Now look at Gentleman Walrus. I almost wonder if he's been watching the games that we covered yesterday with Nigerian Princess doing the same maneuver.
Yeah, but he's pointed out this time instead of pointed in.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan Kenobi does bag C on behalf of GWP. They'll start ticking up a small lead here. As the Des Moines now steps onto A, that stops that point game. Nocap responding by grabbing B.
Now here's the difference. Look at this Argumo. Look at Mowgli. Brilliant positioning there. No cap kill all. Just keeping Gentleman Walrus lit. It's probably not going to get the kill, but it'll definitely get him out in the open.
Pushing a Harugumo to the other side of this island as the Des Moines between the radar, the hydro, and possibly even the proxy spotting, if he ever gets close enough, able to just drive Gentleman Walrus off the cap. Let those points start ticking up on behalf of Nocap.
Mm-hmm. This is what we saw teams fail to do yesterday.
Yes. Well, we saw teams try to move ships into this position, but it just felt like they weren't, like, you see people get over there, but then just not quite getting the execution right. Like, we saw Gearing try this, you remember?
Yep.
I forget which match it was, but we saw Gearing in this position trying for this. Just not quite able to make it work. Now, Nocap Killall's Des Moines is in a, I won't say that's not a comfortable position. Looking down at Stalingrad up there to his north. He's backed up behind the island like, let's not go. Let's not do that, shall we?
Uh-oh. XGC is about to take a torpedo. Oh, right in the middle.
So he does. Big hit on the Marceau. Gearing torps landing from afar. It's a big impact. As Nocap surrenders B. Now, that's interesting. Like, Nocap has brought 4 destroyers to this game, Zaf. They're basically saying, we're going to win on cap control. That is our play. And to surrender a cap like that is kind of tough. Now, they're about to be able to 3v1 the B cap, right? Because the gearing is rotating over, and Ryan Joe might eat one of these.
Oh, he does.
Ooh, that is bad timing for his Hydro to be down. Chukawama's radar goes up.
They want that kill.
Yep, they see him. They know he took a torpedo. It only took about a 6K hit out of it. It wasn't a huge hit. He is going to burn for a bit as they push him off the cap. If GGWP is able to get good work in against these destroyers, that's the game. Nocap's, their whole strategy is based on, we have 4 destroyers, we own the caps. Like, that's it.
Well, and 2 of their more mobile spotting-ish destroyers are now, they can't be as aggressive anymore.
They're quite beat up now. The Daring will be able to recover some of his HP. The Gearing, Killer Kane there, taking about 2,000-3,000 damage as he got it. He was spotted. The Daring basically took some shots for free. You won't get that back. Do you think, Zaf, like, it's easy for me to say because I can see both teams, okay? So let's look at this from Nocap's perspective. You know that one of their destroyers is lurking in the vicinity of the C cap. We don't know where. Do you think maybe you try and push the Marceau over there? You probably can't afford to.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Marceau where?
The XGC, right? Like, for example, they're contesting B.
I
can look at the map, and with my perfect, God vision, I can see that that GWP has pulled Cannoli off the C cap. Nocap doesn't know this, and they have no radar over on that side of the board to check it with, right? But what I'm thinking is maybe you make a play for the C cap, but I think it's probably too early. They don't have enough information.
Well, but the problem,
now, they are making a play for B. Go ahead.
The problem with putting SGC into C-Cap is you've got the Moskva up there and you've got a Des Moines that are basically ready to just pounce on anything that goes in there.
Yeah,
that's the trap.
That's a good point. Now, Nocap does bag B back. 50 points between the 2 teams. 9 minutes gone here on this rubber game of the match. The winner of this game will be moving on to the winner's bracket here in Group 1 for the right to play 07 next round.
Great.
Nocap is Floyd's out. They brought the Yami in. They're determined to take and hold this B cap. They now know where the gearing is. Somebody caught a glimpse of him. XGC's getting hammered a bit. He may wander into these torpedoes if he's not careful. Nope. He's going to turn out and go the other way.
Meanwhile, Torps Fizzle on Kaga. Oh, Killer Kane's gonna take one of these. No. Oh, just pump the brakes at the right time. Wow.
So now XGC is on the side of the map here with the Des Moines. That's Whaler's Des Moines and Thaleron's Moskva. Go ahead.
Hawkeye just got slapped.
Hawkeye just took a huge hit. Who the hell was that?
Gotta be Dazzling Fox's Ohio.
It's gotta be Kaga.
He's limping away now. His engines are off. Here comes Optical. X. He's turning around. Okay, never mind. He's on the way.
They pushed Hawkeye through that gap with the smoke cover. About to have a lead change. There it is. Nocap moves out to the lead again as we cross the halfway mark of the match. Whaler might even be biting off a little more than he can chew here. He's challenging Vege's Des Moines. That might not be the smartest move he could make, as he takes another 9K through the bow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I look at where the Glhf is at. I hadn't realized where Nocap's Glhf was.
Yep. Well, Whaler's about to find out because he just popped his radar. Question is, can XGC like not die here? I mean, talk about bad timing for that radar for XGC.
XGC needs to try and live. I think it's not going to happen. Between the Moskva and the Des Moines, he should go out. It's a long radar, nearly a full minute.
Oh yeah.
They've pushed Whaler back to where Whaler has no shots on 900 HP, but the Moskva shells come in. They're still looking for him.
Wow.
50 HP for XGC, still alive.
Oh my god.
He's trying to get to hard cover.
Oh.
The Moskva does finally bag him. Another lead change. First blood going to GGWP here.
But you can
Whaler
see.
is in trouble.
Yep, you can see Criminal 6 now coming up Whaler's butt.
Yeah, Whaler is in trouble.
And Whaler
can't sit there and he can't move forward. So
exactly. Those are some brilliant torpedoes by XGC going out and just trying. And that's going to get it.
Yeah, it's going to get it.
It's just a flesh
Whaler's
wound.
going to get one more salvo off, and then that's all she wrote for that.
Now that's pretty important.
Yes, it is.
Because Criminal can start rolling up the 10 line here, and he's got Thaleron's broadside on the Moskva.
Does he have eyes on the Moskva?
I don't think so.
He can't see him at the moment. He knows he's over there, but he just can't. He's firing anyway, but he's firing blind. Nocap, 20 points down, 8 minutes to play. Still anybody's game here on Land of Fire. Nocap once again making a hard push for the B cap.
They should get it here.
Yep, they're gonna get it here. The radar comes up just too late to get any of the resets that GGWP needed. They might put some more damage into Kane, but it won't matter by that point. The damage is done. Cap is flipped.
One gearing torp hit Kozil's Yamato. No big deal. As the Shikishima and Yamato start slapping each other, it looks like.
Looks like Chikuwama took a torp in the bow, and he's got Yamato falling on him now.
Oh, big hit.
Solid hit. Solid hit. More Burgonia shells going in on him. I'm surprised to see the Burgonia firing AP at that angle instead of HE. I bet he swaps after that salvo.
Oh, yeah. He probably does.
Oh, no, that's another AP salvo coming in. Look at that.
I'm
really surprised. Like, he just took a torp. You know his DCP is down.
Yep.
HE is absolutely what you should be firing there, in my opinion.
Well, maybe he's hoping for plunging fire at this ridiculously long range, but yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah, he's fired 3 straight AP salvos after the torp hit, so maybe a little bit of miscommunication there on Nocap's part. As now the A cap is contested. Look at this. Walrus going for essentially what amounts to a suicide charge on the Des Moines, who's been left to die, left alone now in a 2v1.
Because this totally needed to happen.
Yeah. This is going to be a big play. He missed that salvo completely.
Wow.
Walrus is going to get him. His turrets simply don't turn fast enough.
Oh, he didn't get him. He didn't get him.
He blew the second. The guns take care of it. He blew the second torp salvo, but the guns do take care of it.
Wow.
Walrus exposed, but he's a long way from the shells coming in here. He's going to take some more damage, but I don't think he's going to die. We'll see. That does translate into a ship lead for the moment for GGWP. They can't see him. Walrus is gone. Out of vision. They pushed Kazuhil back off the cap as well. He's getting a little low now. So now I feel like Criminals Glhf is an important ship on the board, Zath, but Glhf is so slow. It's going to be a while before he can be impactful.
The thing is that he turned south again and then went back north, so there must have been some communication there to tell him to not push C or not push farther north.
They got the reset on Cannoli. I think it might have, it wasn't blind, but they did get the reset. Now, the other important thing that happened there, they pushed the Marceau out of the A cap, so they got a few more. Nocap got a few more ticks of that before now. GWP is finally going to flip the A cap here. These guys, they've got to get onto a different cap now. They're down a ship. They're fixing to be down on caps. Time's ticking.
Yep, we got a Stalingrad versus Marceau, or sorry, Moskva fight going on now.
Yeah, they need to kill something awful. That's a fight the Moskva should win, Zath. Just on rate of fire alone.
It should, yes. But
oh, I was just fixing to say. But Hawkeye is in a bit. We saw him get slapped earlier by the Ohio position. Oh, what a brilliant shot from Kaga. Less than 60 seconds here. Nocap desperately needs a kill. I don't know where they're going to get it, Zath.
At this point, nope. The only thing Nocap can do is get that Glhf in and just slow down the bleeding.
They brought 4 destroyers into this game, and I kept thinking, surely one of these GGWP destroyers will go out. But
no.
We saw this yesterday. It does, or maybe it wasn't yesterday, but at some point we've seen these guys, it doesn't happen. Optical just took a huge hit, but he's still in the game.
That's right.
Just these GGWP destroyer players just doing amazing work. Ryan Joe going all in, man. He's got to get on this cap, and he knows it.
Yep. Still 30 seconds until they lose, so they have to get this kill right now.
They're trying to get Optical.
They get him.
They do. They really can't afford to trade here, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's just in too good of a position there. Too well covered.
They can see Joe still. I think Moskva radar has him lit. 700 HP, just a couple more shells will seal the deal.
Moskva radar is on.
They can still see him. They do bag him. It's not a trade those guys can afford. 10 seconds. It's not going to happen, Zath.
Well, the Glhf got off of C. Why did he get off of C? He must have been pushed forward.
I think, well, Veg is now on to C, but it doesn't matter. They can't get onto A, and so the game ends. It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
They needed a kill in time for them to bag a cap and then steal another kill. Like, the series of events just became increasingly more improbable that they were going to pull that off. And GLHF, I should say, claims the game and the match. They will move on to face 07 in Group 1.
That's, wow.
Good game. That one had some exciting moments, right? We didn't see a lot of that in the KC match, but that one definitely had some exciting back and forth.
Absolutely. So that was GLHF winning, moving on to the next round. And
that
now,
is correct.
Bear with us, guys, as we have to go back to our originally planned match now.
Your camera's off again.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. I've been trying to keep that off so that it doesn't overheat.
Yep. So here's my suggestion. As soon as you see the end screen of a game, just reach up, turn your camera on, because usually
I've been doing that. I've just gotten confused. I've been getting the habit of tabbing out and messaging Bonk so we could get games.
Which we don't need right now because we know where we're going. Let's see. Who are we going to see? We're going to Group F, I think. Yes, we're going to see Group F. Ooh, Buenos Noches won Game 2, Zath, so we'll have to wait on the results of that match. We will see Dale again. We saw Dale yesterday. They defeated KSF in a reverse sweep. They will be facing off against the winner of Buenos Noches and A-Ship. Askins and Bogsy. Let's see. Let's go have a look at these guys real fast.
Ah, there it is. Yeah, so we're going to be facing Dale and whoever wins Buenos Noches A-Ship, right?
Hey, Zath.
Yes.
Run a quick ad break for yourself.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Helps keep the pre-rolls out. Nobody likes the pre-rolls.
That's true. That's true.
All right, let's go. I'm gonna go back to Twitch. I'm gonna go take a peek in on this Boggsy and Askins match, and just see kind of where they're at, because we'll be 5 minutes behind them.
Mm-hmm.
We can still have a look. Make sure they're muted here, otherwise it'll be deafening when that comes in. There we go. Mute that for a second. Twitch is so slow today. All right, they're at the 12-minute mark of the match, which means they're now, by the time we're seeing this, they're about 7 minutes left to play. So we've probably got at least 7-8 minutes to kill, if not more, like 10 to 12. We know the Bravo team is going to be Dale.
Yep.
And we don't know anything about map rotation or anything like that yet. So that's literally all that we know. we know who the Bravo team is. We don't know anything else. Okay.
That is correct.
I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on this Buenos Noches match here. They have, let's see, right now they have a lead. They have a 2-ship and a cap lead. They're also playing Land of Fire. That's something I need to do. Hold on a minute. Actually, I'll do it later. I'll do it for day 4. It's not critical today. All right. Well, I'm gonna go and just pause that. We don't need to use my bandwidth. We had a look at that. So the four destroyer play of Nocap. I want to talk about this for a minute, right? Because I like the idea. It's teams generally fluctuate between 2 and 4 destroyers. It's been a long while since we've seen a destroyerless team composition. Okay, they happen. We've seen them here on NA before. They have happened. But it's not. It ain't normal, you know. So I have to wonder then. I'm trying to kind of marshal my thoughts here.
Okay.
That's almost like the extreme in the other direction. Like yesterday, we saw 3 destroyers was pretty common. We saw a couple of 2 destroyers. We saw the 1 4 destroyer composition, and that was that Marceau wolf pack that we watched GWP execute on Crash Zone Alpha.
Right.
GLHF. Execute on Crash Zone Alpha.
Yeah.
That worked really well. And so they didn't play it in that match, but we also saw, again, another 4 destroyer comp. They're playing against one now. Didn't try the same thing, right? They tried a little more, let's say, a little more standardized thing. It was a gearing, a daring, a Marceau, and
a Harugumo.
A Harugumo.
Yep,
Harugumo's a bit of an oddball in that match. They used him to good effect early on to push those guys out of the A cap. But like those ships without the, do you think maybe from a perspective of, if you're going to go that way, you almost have to wolf pack something? It just feels like they had all these destroyers and just didn't get nearly as much work out of them as they needed to.
Yeah, you know, I like the positioning of like the Harugumo up the side there. I think they did a really nice job capturing that. And we kind of moved over to the B cap to see what was going on at B. But I felt like there wasn't that much gained after that Marceau was driven off of A. I would have liked to seen the move farther north and try to, you know, kind of capitalize on that new board control that they had. And try to roll up the one-line flank. I kind of felt the same way on the other side, right? When after the Des Moines died, we didn't see the Glhf get pushed up the flank, really. It was just more, just kind of chilling, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't really feel like they got much mileage out of either of those positions. And the extra spotting provided by the destroyers are great, but they didn't really have anything that could hit shots either to kind of, you know, capitalize on that spotting. So
I like the Goliath pick
Mm-hmm.
on their lineup. I don't know how effective that guy was in that position. I think they were trying to use him to harass the Moskva at C. Um, but in the end, they didn't really get there, right? Like
Right.
it just didn't feel like he was super effective, I suppose.
Right. So, you know, certain conditions have to occur in order to be able to use a ship to its strengths. And I think a Goliath is one of those ships that you really need those events to happen. And for him, they just simply didn't happen from the majority of the game, really, until it was too late, anyways. Right? So,
Yeah.
like, you know, they positioned him south of C, expecting a push through C, which never materialized. So basically, he's sitting there, kind of just sailing about. Guys, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
So,
All right. Buenos Noches has won that match. So
aha.
our next match will be Buenos Noches versus Dale. I think your room host is going to be Jaime. So I'm going to have a look here.
He was hosting the last room.
Yep. So he should be hosting this one. I'll just double check it.
Sounds good.
He does have a room open. I'm betting then that I'm going to pop in here, but I'm betting then that he's going to rename it and rejigger it for the new match. He hasn't done that yet.
He probably will. In the meantime, I was 798 XP away from my third container, so you can probably guess what I've been doing right now.
You've been slamming out the co-op games, haven't you, Seth?
Oh, you got it, dude. I just rammed a Vittorio Veneto up the butt with my own Vittorio Veneto.
It's like he knows. It's like I know you. Who knew? Yeah. Let's have a look at some early results in some of the other groups. 07, of course, going 2-0 over Treta. They'll be facing off against GLHF here in just a few minutes. Double Strike straight games over RBMK. Star straight games over Salsa. I'm actually a little surprised at that. But
You know,
go ahead.
from what we casted yesterday, we only caught one game of Salsa, but between Salsa and Star, I felt like Star is a little bit tighter with their maneuvering and stuff compared to the other.
Fair.
But, you know,
Fair point.
still, you're right. I mean, 2-0 is nothing to smirk at.
But that sets up a really, really interesting match in that group, Zap, and that is 007 versus Star.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I would love to cast that game. Let's see, who is casting that game? Let me go have a look.
That
If you
would
guys
be
want to
quite
go
interesting.
watch 007 and Star, that is Game Prodigy and Mayhem. Go check those guys out. That's going to be a fantastic match, I have a feeling. Let's see, SCCC over 5D in straight games. NTAI over RNG in 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Bonks 2-0 over Kraken. IMA 2-1 over YOLO with the W. So YOLO and Kraken drop to the losers bracket. They will be facing off momentarily.
Yep.
KSC we saw win over the Nigerian Princes. Start over MHG. So KSC and Start will be squaring away momentarily. Buenos Noches we know has won their match. Will be carrying their match versus Dale here in a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
TNG defeating PN. And XPN defeating the Angry Bears. I got that wrong yesterday. It's the Angry Bears. TAB. Down in Group 7. QQ7, as you noted earlier, defeating GGWP in straight games. And Mio, straight games over CAST. So not many Game 3s in the early going here, but a few.
That's right.
Okay.
And you kind of expect that a little bit, right, with seeded teams?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say?
I was saying, go ahead and finish your thought.
Well, the reason I'm bringing that up is because the seeded teams appear on the top, right? So 07 was seeded, Bonks was seeded, KSC was seeded, right? PN was seeded, but they lost to TNG, which is interesting. Same thing with bracket
GGWP.
8. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Buenos Noches won, but it took them 3 games to get there, whereas everybody else did it in 2.
Now, I will say it is interesting a little bit. I think last time we ran the event in the fall, all of the seeded teams won their brackets, or at least won that first game in their bracket groups. That's not normal, right? And again, today, you get here, it doesn't happen. It's only about a 75% rate. So despite the fact that you're seeded in the event, by the time teams get to this point, that doesn't mean that it's an instant win for the seeded team, right? I mean, we see that here. So yeah, I love it. I love it when we have teams that fight their way through the group stages, the Swiss stages, group stages, get to this point, and then get to the seeded teams and be like, guys, we're here to play.
That's right.
You may have earned a seed, but we're here to play, and they win, right? And I always love it when that happens because it makes the tournament more interesting.
Yep. By the way, we have maps. In
Yes,
case you
I'm
weren't
looking
aware
at
of that.
yeah, I've been keeping tabs on that over here in the Discord. Hey, Zath, guess what?
Hey, what?
They didn't ban Loop,
I know. Crest Zone
but
Alpha and Land of Fire.
they did ban Land of Fire. All right, and there are your ship bans. Okay, let's put all this in and then we'll talk about it because they'll give us something to talk about. I've got to make notes here.
I find it really interesting that we're starting with Trap. A lot of times Trap is kind of like that map where nobody really wants to play it. We'll get there at some point. No,
Yeah,
they want to start with Trap.
Yeah, it's like we don't love it, we don't hate it, but these guys are like, no, that's where we're going first, kids. All right, let's see.
And we have ship bans in as well. Venezia banned by Buenos Noches.
That's what I said. We have all this, but we'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay, sorry, I didn't catch that.
Gosh, you weren't listening again. You'll listen to me, Zath.
Nope.
All right. It's gonna be okay. So it's gonna be Alpha Bravo. No, sorry.
Bravo
First
Alpha.
game is Bravo Alpha,
Mm-hmm.
then Alpha Bravo, Alpha Bravo. There we go. Okay.
Yep.
Got it. Okay. All these unknowns.
I was gonna say with unknown winners.
Update match. Hit that a couple of times. Come over here, and there we go. It's working. All right, fabulous, guys. So here's our map rotation as we head to the winners bracket half of Group 6. We're going to be bringing you Buenos Noches versus Dale. They're going to be trapped Northern Waters for sure. If we need a tiebreak game, headed to Warriors Path. Now, Zath, let's talk about ship bans.
All right, let's do it. So we've got Venezia, which is nobody's surprise, really. But Daring, and we've been talking yesterday, like, why hasn't anybody banned this ship? Here it is.
It's been interesting. Venezia is becoming more of a popular ban. Have you noticed, Zath?
Oh, yeah.
I'll be really curious to see the ban stats at the end of this weekend, right? This is the first weekend we've had ship bans.
Mm-hmm.
Had bans yesterday, had bans today. So I'm confident that during the week, one of the admins, one of the refs, somebody who loves to crunch numbers will go through and gather up all of the ban information. Who was banned the most? What ship was banned the most? What ship was banned the second most? I'll be really curious to see not only what ships are on that list, but what ships are at the top of that list.
Right. I have a strong feeling we're going to see an awful lot of Venezia. Yeah, we interestingly enough, we haven't seen too many like Des Moines or Stalingrad bans, and I almost wonder if part of it is like my comment earlier that they're just that you're not getting enough mileage unless you can ban both that and like both Moskva and Stalingrad, for example, right? So I wonder if part of it is that, or if it's maybe possible that it's just, hey, we've adapted and we're moving on. You know what I mean?
Lots of options.
That's
Sorry,
right.
I'm busy setting something up that's been bugging me in OBS here.
No worries. I see how it is. You're not listening to me this time.
That's right. I'm returning the favor. Now, it's been driving me crazy that when I make certain transitions, my little transitional like timer and everything is not working the way it should, and so I'm being a bit of a jerk here about it.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm a little transition matrix, and I'm forcing the issue.
Most of you guys at home watching know that Raptor and I are both perfectionists, which is great and also terrible at the same time because, you know, we're able to make these things happen for you, but at the same time, when something breaks or doesn't work just right, it really pisses us off.
You're not wrong. I feel like I'm one of these people that I feel like if you're going to do a tournament cast like this, right, like a little bit of perfectionism is honestly a good thing.
Yes.
Right? You don't want to go crazy, right? You have to acknowledge that there are limits to what you can achieve as a solo caster in these kinds of events.
Mm-hmm.
And there absolutely are. But at the same time, with a little bit of prep and a little bit of effort, you can engineer out just about every major catastrophe that can befall you in these kinds of things. You just put some time in. That's why, you know, last weekend I spent a chunk of Saturday getting all of this set up, and I spent a chunk of Friday getting all of this set up, and so on. And you're the same way, right? We both hate sitting down like 2 hours before the cast to try and set up this stuff. It never ends well. Um, and so here we are. It's day 3, and I'm still finding little things that I want to tweak in my setup, and I think I just fixed it. So we ought to be good.
Perfect.
We ought to be good. So let's talk about these 2 teams real quick, Zath. Now, you and I are familiar with Buenos Noches, right? But let's spend a few minutes and talk to me about Buenos Noches for viewers who are perhaps not familiar with the tournament and may not have seen these guys play before.
So Buenos Noches is kind of one of our favorite teams to cast, right? They're good dudes. They're nice guys. They're people that you want to have on your team, and they're people that you want to organize something with. Like, these are the kind of people I'd love to meet up with and have a beer someday, right? Or 5. But like, the thing about them is that they came onto the scene in one of our earlier seasons of King of the Sea. I can't remember exactly which one. And they promptly got slapped off, relatively quickly, as they, were brand new to the thing. But these guys said, well, let's learn from this. Let's build strategies. Let's figure out what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. Let's get help. Let's all that kind of stuff. And they have built a very competitive team out of essentially just a bunch of guys hanging around and wanting to try out a tournament. So to us, they're like that success story of a clan that, took a chance on King of the Sea and wanted to see how far they can go, and now routinely make it towards into the playoffs. It's fantastic to watch.
They have been a joy to watch grow in the event, and things that they've been doing along the way. And plus, like you said, they're just fabulous people to talk to. They're one of the first teams out of our Latin and South America contingent that have kind of come this far. They were one of the first groups to really start to organize, to enter regularly, and to really start achieving and proving that they belonged. Right? There was a widespread mentality for a number of events that, because as we started to see more and more teams enter from Central and South America, that they weren't as good, they weren't ready. But Buenos Noches, absolutely, like, you never felt that way about those guys, right? I very clearly remember seeing them in the first King of the Sea, and it was like, oh man, these guys, they're not only are they fun to watch, they're good, right?
Oh yeah.
We cast a game, man, who was it against? It was Buenos Noches. I think it was ZR. I think it was King of the Sea 8.
Okay.
It was one of the best. It was one of the best. It was on Sea of Fortune, Zath. It was at the time, it might still be. It was one of the best games of World of Warships I've ever had the privilege to cast. It was so much fun, and it was super close. And it was just like, we just got to where you and I fell in love with casting these guys because they show up to play and they're always fun to watch. Like, just like you said. And if nothing else, to me, they kind of blazed the way a little bit for the contingent of South American and Latin American and Central American teams that have started to enter more. We're seeing more and more of those coming into competitive play. Guys like Star Brazil, because they were here, they proved they belong here, right, and they were just awesome people to hang out with, right? And so it was very easy for the competitive community to just welcome them, and they have been. They've been a part of the team, part of the community for a number of years now, and they're really, really good.
Well, yeah, and like you said, they've been trailblazers for the Latin American community, and of course, there's other clans out there that can claim the same. But what I love about it is, I can't remember if it was you or somebody else mentioning that the Latin American segment of World of Warships is the fastest growing segment, right? We're seeing an awful lot of Latino players in Brazil. We see them in Mexico, in Argentina, Chile, Peru. Now we've got the we've got
there's a Peruvian Navy clan out there. I've seen those guys around.
That's right. Well, and we got the Zeven Provincian coming in, right? Which was I top of my head can't remember the name of Admirante somebody, but you know what I mean. Like that was a Peruvian ship.
Almirante Abreu.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. That's the tier 2. Oh. That was the tier 2 that was the Brazilian. But the ship that I released information on when you did your Constellation? Was it the
Yes, I believe so.
So you did Constellation. I did Des Moines Provincian.
Congress. You did
Congress.
Des Moines prevention.
I always missed it's CO. I hate that, too many CO ships, but
No worries.
Des Moines Prevention was sold to Peru and served the Peruvian Navy. So I think it's really cool. We're bringing in a ship that serves dual purposes here.
Yes.
So, I think it's really cool. We have so many Latino clans that are now participating in King of the Sea.
Agreed. All right, both teams are ready. I'm going to let them know that we are ready. So, guys, we should be headed to trap here for game 1 in just a little bit. Okay, Buenos Noches like, so, yeah, one of our dudes went to take a leak, so give us a minute.
Oh, no.
That's fine. It's fine. No big deal. He'll be back in a sec. So Big M sent me a PM, Zath.
Okay.
He's got the ban data from day 1, but not from day 2 on NA. I have the top 4 ships that were banned on day 1, which we actually, so day 2, yesterday would be day 2.
Okay.
We didn't have bans in the Swiss stage. We had bans yesterday. So number 1 was Marceau, which I find interesting. Number 2, Stalin. Number 3, Nevsky. That really does surprise me. I would rather, if it were me, I'd rather ban a Moskva than a Nevsky. Nevsky's easier to kill.
Right. And
I mean, yeah.
I haven't felt like Nevsky was that crucial in any of the games that we've covered.
No, I haven't. Like the Nevskys that we've seen, probably the best one that we've seen so far, Zath, was GM Schwartz's Nevsky back in that position on Northern Waters in the KSC game. I feel like that's probably the most reliable use of the ship that we've seen to this point.
Right.
But a Nevsky is squishy, right? Like if you don't like it and you don't want to deal with it, just shoot it until it's dead. You know, like it's not nearly as hard to get off the board as a Moskva. That surprises me a little bit. And then last but not least, Des Moines is the number 4, and that doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me.